everyone, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We're from Group 6 and today we're going to deliver to you the material about passive sentence or passive voice. Here are the topics we will talk about today. First, passive sentence. Second, passive adjective. And third, the use of get. And also the last one, common expression. Don't go anywhere and stay tuned because after this we will talk about passive sentence. Passive sentence is used to show interest in person or object that experience an action rather than the person or object that perform the action. And to make it easier, let's see the difference between the active sentence or the passive sentence. Okay guys, here are the difference between active sentence and passive sentence. I have the example of sentence here, but actually it has the same meaning. The example of active sentence is the TV showed a popular movie last week, and then the example of passive sentence is a popular movie was shown last week by the TV. As you can see, the difference between the sentence is the subject, the TV, in the active sentence become the object in a passive sentence, and then the object, a popular movie in active sentence, become the subject. And the difference again between the sentence is the form of the sentence. In passive sentence, we must always use be plus past participle, and we usually use preposition by to connect between the object and then the sentence before. The tense form of the passive voice. I told you that the form of the passive sentence is be plus past participle or verb 3. But actually, if you want to make the sentence with passive sentence, you also have to use tenses. The most of tenses always using be. But in the passive voice, there are two kind of models. First, models like we use usual, everyday. The form is modal plus be plus past participle, and the example is the rice can be made by Kate. And the second kind is past passive form of modal. The form of it is modal plus have been plus past participle, and the example is in the last row of the table. Past passive form of modals, the sentence is the rice should have been made by Kate. I'll give you one more example and I give you one more explanation about the tenses. Present, progressive. Okay, present progressive. In the active sentence, we sometimes use present progressive and we change the transitive verb into verb ing. But in the passive sentence, we don't need to change the transitive verb into verb ing, but we have to change it into verb 3 to make it past participle, and we have to add being after is or after be. For example, the rice is being made by Kate. Passive without a by phrase or without preposition by. It's called the stative or non-progressive passive, and the example is on 3 and 4. The only bakery in town is closed right now, and my glasses was broken last night. Why? Why it can't be like that? Okay, I'll give you the explanation about it. There are two forms of stative or non-progressive sentence. First, there's no action taking place. And second, there's no by phrase. And the last is the past participle function as an adjective. The passive without by preposition, it's sometimes because the agent of the sentence is not important to know. It's like the example of number 1 and number 2. The example number 1, my car was made in 2023, and it's not important to know who's made the car. Okay, and number 2, a letter was delivered yesterday to me. It's also not important to know who delivered the letter yesterday.
Okay, now I will explain about the adjective et and eng. Adjective ending in et and eng have different meanings. Each has its own function. Let's see how to tell the difference. Okay, firstly, present participle. Present participle mempunyai rumus verb ing plus noun. The present participle can serve as an adjective with an active meaning. The noun it modifies performs an action. Adjective with ending ing used to describe characteristic someone situation, or things. Jadi, present participle dapat berfungsi sebagai kata sifat dengan makna aktif. Kata benda yang dimodifikasi melakukan tindakan. Adjektif dengan akhiran ing biasanya digunakan untuk mendeskripsikan karakteristik seseorang, situasi, atau benda yang biasanya diawali dengan me atau ber. Let's see the example. Example number 1. The problem confuses the student. Masalah membingungkan siswa. Jadi kalau present participle menjadi it is a confusing problem. Ini adalah masalah yang membingungkan. The noun problem do something. It confuses. Thus, it is described a confusing problem. Jadi, kata benda problem melakukan sebuah aksi atau tindakan, yaitu membingungkan. Dengan demikian, ini digambarkan sebagai masalah yang membingungkan. Example number 2. The story amuses the children. Cerita itu membuat anak-anak terhibur. Jadi kalau present participle menjadi it is an amusing story. Itu adalah cerita yang menghibur. The noun story do something. It amuses. Thus, it is described as an amusing story. Jadi, kata benda story melakukan tindakan, yaitu menghibur. Dengan demikian, kita menggambarkannya sebagai cerita yang menghibur. Okay, we move to the next is the past participle. Jadi, past participle mempunyai rumus verb 3 plus noun. The past participle can serve as an adjective with a passive meaning. Adjective with ending ed used to describe feeling that the subject feels. Jadi, past participle dapat berfungsi sebagai kata sifat dengan makna pasif. Adjektif yang berakhiran ed digunakan untuk mendeskripsikan perasaan atau feeling yang dirasakan subjek. Biasanya berawalan di atau ter dan bisa bermakna sudah. Okay, looks to the example. Example number 1. The students are confused by the problem. Siswa bingung dengan masalah. Jadi kalau past participle itu menjadi they are confused student. Mereka adalah siswa yang bingung. The students are confused by something. Thus, they are described as confused student. Jadi, para siswa bingung dengan sesuatu. Oleh karena itu, mereka digambarkan sebagai siswa yang bingung. Example number 2. The children are amused by the story. Anak-anak terhibur dengan cerita yang disampaikan. Jadi, kalau past participle itu menjadi they are amused children. Mereka adalah anak-anak yang terhibur. The children are amused by something. Thus, they are described amused children. Anak-anak terhibur oleh sesuatu. Oleh karena itu, mereka digambarkan sebagai anak-anak yang terhibur. Look the picture. The book is so boring is present participle. I am so bored is past participle. Jadi kalau dibuat kalimat menjadi I am so bored because the book is so boring. So it can be concluded that adjective ending ing are used to describe the characteristic of an object, and adjective ending ed are used to describe feeling. Okay, thank you for your attention. If there is a mistake, it comes from me, and if there is a perfection, it comes from Allah. Thank you.
The next topic is about the use of get in passive sentence. There are passive sentence in English is don't contain to be, but contain the verb get. With get passive, the position to be in a passive sentence is replaced by the verb get. The get passive has two structures. The first is get plus adjective, and the second is verb plus participle. Okay, the first is get plus adjective. This structure is used for people and things. Get can be followed by some adjectives to express the idea of change or becoming something. For example, I'm getting hungry. Let's eat soon. In a sentence, I'm getting hungry, the meaning is I was not hungry before, but now I'm beginning to be hungry. When we use get to make the passive sentence and the verb is negative, don't forget to add do or did for the present tense and the past tense. For example, in a positive verb, he gets paid on Friday. In a negative verb is he does not get paid on Monday. The next is get plus past participle. Past participle is the form of a verb that usually end in ed or d. Get can also be followed by the past participle and the function as an adjective to describe the subject. The passive with get can be used to present information more indirectly. The verb get expresses action. So, for the structure is use action verb. Action verb expresses physical or mental action, such as break, eat, choose, and marry. For example, his brother got married last year. For the get passive, we don't use stative verb such as now, believe, say, and understand.
Okay guys, I will presentation about common expression. The first, stative passive. Stative passive are verb-like words that follow be in sentences and function as adjective. Stative passive indicate a status or condition which might exist over a period of time. In contrast, action verb often indicate a change from one status to another. Next, stative passive verbs are followed by a preposition other than by. Example, I am interested in China's art. A preposition, I am interested in. Example number 2, he is satisfied with his job. And example number 3, and is married to Alex. Example number 4, Helen was worried about her mother. Example number 5, Carmen is terrified of snakes. Thank you.
Okay, that's all is our explanation about passive sentence, and we hope this video can useful for you guys, and this video can help you to understand about passive sentence. And if there is something you want to ask or something question, you can drop it in the column commentar. Thank you for watching, and I'm sorry if there are any mistake. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.